to Season 3, Episode 13 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing Legacy Theater's production of The Musical of Musicals, The Musical, with music by Erick Rockwell, lyrics by Joanne Bogart, and book by both Rockwell and Bogart, directed by Colin Sheehan, running through July 30th at their theater at 128 Thimble Islands Road in Branford, Connecticut. Parody requires a very specific touch and a talent from its creators to elevate sometimes already present high drama to the excessive to accentuate the drama's more memorable qualities to the point of the absurd. With The Musical of Musicals, the musical, Rockwell and Bogart take a very simple, classic premise and elevate the absurdity by taking 5 of the most renowned composers and interpreting that story in the style of those said composers. The story is the classic melodrama of the young ingenue, here named June, played by Stephanie Stiefel Williams, who can't pay her rent to the villainous landlord Jitter, played by Karl Gasteyer. June beseeches advice from the matron Abby, played by Keely Baisden, and struggles with a possible relationship with the hero Willy, played by Randall Delone Adkison, who ultimately saves the day. Unlike other parody shows like the long-running Forbidden Broadway, The Musical of Musicals, the musical, doesn't do direct parody, meaning, let's say, lifting all that jazz from Cantor Neb's Chicago and changing the lyrics to fit the narrative. Instead, Rockwell and Bogart have composed songs in the style of the composers, for which each segment is tributed. For example, the first segment, titled Corn, is a spoof on the musicals of Rodgers and Hammerstein. The opening number is called Oh, What a Beautiful Corn, obviously a spoof on Oh, What a Beautiful Morning from Oklahoma, but it isn't set to the music of Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, but is music that is very similar in style. The second segment is a riff on the musicals of Stephen Sondheim called A Little Complex. It is followed by a spoof on Jerry Herman called Dear Abby, then aspects of Janita in the style of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and ending with Speakeasy, a parody of Cantor Neb. Though yes, audience members who are well-versed in these musical theater composers will have a deeper appreciation to the many humorous references throughout, the choice to have such a simple premise of the classic rent is due narrative allows for the story to be accessible to the uninitiated. With this simple plot, for the parody to work, The Musical of Musicals, the musical, must be a go-big or go-home show. The performances must be over the top, or else the humor will not hit as hard as it should. Or it may just fall flat. With Legacy's production, it's a mixed bag. Setting the standard for the cast is Karl Gasteyer, who is hysterical, nailing the zany quality of playing the lusty, sniveling landlord Jitter. In each segment, he goes wildly over the top, and it works, especially his bloodthirsty Sweeney Todd-inspired landlord in A Little Complex, and his lascivious MC from Cabaret-inspired landlord in Speakeasy. The other actors have highs and lows. Randall Delone Adkison is a bit stiff as Willy. I would have preferred an almost superhero approach to the role with more grand posturing, which would have made the Color Me Gay number in Speakeasy, which is inspired by the musical Kiss of the Spider-Woman, all the more hilarious. Keely Baisden is mostly adequate, with the exception of the Dear Abby segment, where she plays a Mame and Hello Dolly-inspired, drunken, self-absorbed, aging leading lady. Her performance in that segment is excellent, and I wish she presented the same energy throughout the rest of the show. Stephanie Stiefel Williams probably has the hardest part as the hopeless ingenue June. Still, a bit more exaggerated lamenting despair would have increased the absurd humor, especially in aspects of Janita as she portrays a Patti LuPone-inspired Evita character. Granted, LuPone is already an actress who plays at a level of 10, if not more, but I would have loved Stiefel Williams' performance to be an exaggeration of that. Don't get me wrong, it's not that these performances are bad, though sometimes the choreography is extremely sloppy. But aside from Gasteyer, everyone needed to up the energy at certain points throughout the show. On the technical side, there is some marvelous lighting by Jamie Burnett, who also happens to be the scenic designer. There is a New York City skyline piece that has some marvelous lighting around the border of it that at times to make it either pop out forward or at other times create the optical illusion of it sinking further into the set. It's a great visual effect used by people with a keen knowledge of color and light, and makes something simple very expressive and textured. If you have a long love for musical theater, I recommend seeing The Musical of Musicals, the musical. The show's concept is simple, yet full of robust nods to theater of yesteryear. Though the performances are sometimes underwhelming, they are still entertaining. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see The Musical of Musicals, the musical, I'll leave a link where you can get tickets in the description. Thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon for your support. If you'd like to become a patron, I'll leave a link in the description where you can do that as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the new Broadway musical, Here Lies Love. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.